E rere atu ngā mihi o ngā huia kai manawa o te motu. Kia ora from the Auckland War Memorial Museum. Tonight we bring you a special one-on-one. This Wednesday at Government House in Wellington, Sir Robert Bom Gillies, Ngāti Whakauwe, Kahununu Hoki, will formally accept his knighthood from the Governor-General. It took some convincing too, because this humble 97-year-old is the only living member of the famed 28th Māori Battalion. He is literally the last man standing. We saw him on Whakaata Māori during the recent Anzac Day commemorations, and I had the delightful honour of spending time with this karaua, affectionately known as Bom, inside beautiful St. Faith's Church in Ohenemutu, Rotorua. So sit back, whakarongo mai, and you as knight may be softly spoken, but he certainly packs a punch. It's a nice church here, eh?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to be on your best behaviour when you come in here?
Yeah.
Mm. You know, you're pretty fit. How do you keep that physical fitness? What's your secret?
Daily work.
Daily work, eh? Yeah. And I hear you do quite a bit of work down the marae.
All sorts.
Yeah.
Plenty of work at home.
Mm.
Yeah.
And your mind is pretty sharp?
Or not sharp, but it goes.
Ta Robert Bom Gillies, still got it. Still driving at 97. Yes, it's a manual. Drives, helps out around the marae, still looks after himself in the red brick whare he built 60 years ago. You've survived an earthquake, the Napier earthquake. Yeah. You would have survived a depression, the war,
yeah,
and COVID, and Donald Trump. What's your secret?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose I could say my faith.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ever since I've been a boy, I learned about it, and even when we were overseas, we always had a karakia before they went into battle, and we have a karakia when we come out.
Yeah. A man of faith, a man of humility, which is why at first he said no to a New Zealand knighthood, didn't think he was deserving of it. But now he's got two. The first was granted by Italy. You're going to be a double knight. You'd be the only double knight in New Zealand.
Night time, double night time.
Why did you decline the knighthood here in New Zealand?
Because it wasn't for me. I know I wasn't worthy of it. There's a lot of fellas before me, never got a thing. Yeah. Yeah. I should have refused, but at the time I thought about it, and I thought, oh, that's for the boys.
Mm. Yeah. So next time I see you, well, I suppose I could call you Sir Bom now, eh?
No.
No?
No. Anyway, that Bom is only a humbug name.
I wanted to ask you, where did that name come from?
I don't know. I don't know where it came from. But everybody calls me Bom. And they write Robert Bom, Robert Bom. It's a humbug bloody name. My name is a good old Scottish name.
Robert Bom Gillies, barely 17 when he tried not once, but 3 times to join up. You were only a young fella when you tried to sign up, and I understand you tried to get in a couple of times. You got knocked back by one of your relations. Yeah. It was a bit tricky to sign up, wasn't it?
Yeah, but a lot of fellas got away. A couple of my mates, they got away when they were 14. Yeah.
Did they come back?
Yeah, come back, both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the attraction? Why did you guys want to sign up?
We'd never been out of town, you know, and we had all the stories from the First World War, all the hard case stories, yeah. And we wanted to see the world.
You didn't think, well, going to Hamilton might be quite good? It's a long way to go then.
Well, we hadn't even been to Mamaku. they formed a 2nd Māori Battalion up north in about 1942. They gathered all the Māori troops in all the other units, put them together, and we had a whole battalion up there, 5 companies, and we had our own transport, anti-tank, and infantry, all up at Highway, just out of Kaikohe. We were up there for 2 Christmases.
Yeah. So how come you managed to get in the 3rd time you tried?
Oh, the recruiting officer wasn't there. Was another fella there. One fella, Rico Simon, he signed up, his name was Moana, and he signed up Rico Simon, and he'd been medically unfit, and Bronco Tai went ahead and came out with his papers, and Rico gave him his papers. He went back in, and Rico got away.
Pretty dedicated, eh?
Oh, it was a different story when you got over there.
Yes. After training in Egypt, Bom arrived just in time for the Allied assault on Italy. By late 1943, the Allies were trying to punch through formidable German defences. He and the 28th Battalion, in freezing conditions, tried to take the mountain town of Osunya. How close do you get to the people that you're fighting against?
Sometimes you never get near them, but some get a hand-to-hand, yeah, but I never got in hand-to-hand, no.
Was anyone that was killed in that battle?
Yeah, yes, we lost one of our officers, Johnny Pyle. He was a Maori All Black, halfback, and, from Whakatane. And we could hear him on the talkie. He's gurgling. He started gurgling before he died. Yeah.
How did you all handle that?
The training helped, and discipline, military discipline, that helped. You know, you just, well, you had to take it, eh? Yeah.
Repeated attacks were repulsed by German defenders, Jerry as they were called, and the assault ground to a halt. In the first 2 months of the campaign, the New Zealand division suffered 1,600 dead and wounded.
We were camped up at Osunya, and we had a good sergeant, Paul Harold. He should have come home. They took all of them, the ones who were ready to come home, but they put them in amongst the American long toms, the long-range artillery, and anyone knows that's a target, and they were camped in there, and they lined up for pay, and Jerry sent a stonk over, killed them. They were waiting for a boat in Napoli, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was very sad.
They were just killed standing in the line waiting to go home, basically. Were you injured there?
Yeah.
What happened? Where did you get hit?
In the arm.
Yeah.
Got shrapnel in the arm.
Yeah. Did you end up in hospital, or they just patched you up on the spot?
Yeah, they patched me up and gave me 7 days leave.
Did you have friends that you lost?
Yeah. A good mate of everybody's, Joe Tafari from Taupo. He was a real comedian. And him and Hutu Abimana from Ofwhanau, they were in a V trench like that, and a direct hit on Joe Tafari.
Yeah.
And he got cut in half, and his legs from his white belt down was blown up on top of the grass on top.
Yeah.
And his other half was blown to bits in the trench. And Sergeant Rua went over and picked him up and put him back in the trench and buried him, put his rifle up. And Hutua, he got such a blast, he jumped up I reckon he broke the world record. He took off down the hill, nobody could stop him.
How'd you cope with that when you're over there? I know you talk about discipline and all that, but it must play in your head.
Yeah, but being soldiers, it's part of the soldier's life, you know. You can't do anything about it. You just hope it's not you.
After Asonia, the New Zealand Division and the men of the 28th were faced with Casino, the town and the looming monastery on the other side of the Italian peninsula. The fighting was bitter, close quarter, and the 28th were in the thick of it. Young Private Gillies, though, was stationed at BHQ, Battalion Headquarters.
The river Rapido ran right underneath Casino. Went up like that, and the river went past the town. Jerry been there for quite a few months, and he'd have everything taped. He knew every bit of the ground, and he had the bank all mined, and they had box mines there, about that square, and once the boys trod on them, they went up, and then they put the flares up. And it was like daylight. And a lot of them lost their lives. There's a lot of good wounded.
There was 200 Māori Battalion there and 128 died.
A Company, they attacked on the left and B Company on the right. And A Company got pinned down. There was a rise, a knoll there with a turret on it. And it had a Spandau in it. And he just swept the whole bank. So A Company, the ones who left in A Company, they joined B Company on the right. Monty Wickeriffe was our commander. That was a good attack. Had they got the tanks across, the poor old engineers, they got shot up. Jerry knew he could hear the banging and he sent mortars down. Some of them got killed. And they worked on it, and they had one span to go, and daylight came. Couldn't get the tanks across. So all day, Monty, B Company and A Company, they repelled 2 counterattacks. And then they knew that if daylight fall, they'd bring their tanks out. And that's what they did. And Monty had a bad wound on his leg, and he covered his face with an army cape, and he lifted his wounded leg out. They come around, and they saw him, they passed him. And when night came, he crawled to the Bailey Bridge, and the 24th Battalion was there, and they grabbed him, took him back to BHQ.
The memories are like it was yesterday, razor sharp, and old comrades long gone.
That's Bill Kepper. That's from Murray. Forget his name.
Gee.
Yeah, I know those fellas. Tar Walker, that fella's name.
Gee, I've got it right. They're all gone now.
Yeah. Oh, that's our captain.
Yeah?
Ponga Munro.
Do you know, when you think about it, lots of names of whanau from around here, and a lot of them wouldn't have come back. Like my grandmother's brother, Hupa Hamiora, he died and was buried over there. So those are huge losses to whanau, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Hupa. Yeah, over here.
Did you?
Yeah.
3,600 Māori served between 1939 and 45. 649 never came back. 1,712 were wounded and 267 taken prisoner or missing. The homecoming was everything you'd expect. At first, anyway.
We were happy to get home, and coming off the boat at Wellington, at the wharf, and they were there to greet us. The authorities were all there before we went back, met them at the dinner at the wharf. Yeah.
So you come back to New Zealand, you've been fighting. There's people that have come back that are injured, that are never going to be the same. What sort of support was given for returning soldiers?
Well, some got a lot of support, but a lot of our fellas didn't. No. And our fellas, they never moaned. Yeah.
When you say our fellas, what do you mean? Who do you mean?
Well, the battalion fellas. Yeah. Yeah. They just went back to their roots and stayed there, drank beer, killed a lot of them. A lot of them drank beer. That much beer, they ended up dying.
Was that their way of coping with what?
Yeah.
What would happen when you got together with some of the ones that you were with overseas? Did you talk about how hard it was to adjust?
Not much. No.
I suppose in those days it was kind of like, be tough. Don't talk about your feelings, eh?
A lot of it was too sad to talk about. Yeah.
When you've got all that inside you and you can't really talk about it with anyone.
It stays there.
And the mumai continued. Men who had given so much, suffered greatly, came home to a racist reality that never went away. I mean, you go over there, you're a young fella, you're fighting, you see people die and come back injured. What would you really like New Zealanders to understand?
We were all volunteers. For 6 years, 6 long years, our battalion was all volunteers. We weren't conscripted. And not only that, the Maori war effort was second to none at home. And, it was all for nothing. All for nothing. We come back and things were much the same for our forefathers.
By war's end, Māori still didn't receive full old age and widows' pensions. Renting was a problem. They were excluded from some swimming pools, theatres, hotels and bars. Bom remembers when Māori couldn't even buy alcohol to take away. And they weren't always welcome, even at some RSAs.
You couldn't go into some places, you weren't allowed. Yeah. And then they looked upon you if you did.
Made you feel like you shouldn't be there.
Yeah. I told them before, if I had my time over again, I'd have been a conscientious objector. I'd stayed home. You
put an affidavit into the Waitangi Tribunal, and you mentioned that. You said that you would not go again because nothing changed. What do you think the Crown and the governments need to do to bring back the balance?
Well, they need to open up all avenues for Māori to be a place in their own home. It's still going on today.
Do you think that the Crown owes the battalion an apology?
I think so. I think so.
Bom couldn't settle when he got home. He travelled the Motu, landed a job with Post and Telegraph, and then he met Ray at a dance at the marae. This is a lady you enchanted with your foxtrot?
Ray Ratima.
Yeah. Who's these kids? What's their names?
Well, that's Robert and that's Ture. He's the oldest.
Nice. For the last 3 years, Sir Robert has been quietly supporting David Stone in his campaign to reclaim medals of former soldiers for their descendants.
See, when we come back, they just discharged us. And we didn't know we had to apply. None of our fellas knew. And even the original 39ers, they didn't know.
That you had to apply for a medal?
Apply before you got them.
Mm.
Yeah. It wasn't till early 2000 that I got mine. I got notice to go overseas to some memorial, and I never had a passport. I didn't have any medals, so I had to apply for them, and they hurried them up for me.
So you were going to go to a memorial thing with no medals?
Yeah. So they helped hurry up to send my medals through to me.
Mm. As the last one of the Māori Battalion, it must be quite an emotional event for you, Anzac Day.
Yeah. But the thing is, I find it very hard. But I know I've got to face up to it. When I think of the boys, our mates, yeah. I just got to get up there and do whatever I have to do.
It's a heavy load. The last man standing, the keeper of memories, the one who grew old when so many didn't. For the sake of all his comrades past, Ta Robert has one last campaign to fight, and that's to have the battle honours formally enshrined on the 28th Battalion flag.
Jim Henry, he requested it when he come home, and that they put our battle honours on the flag. And they haven't done it since. And Harawira Peerless, he came and saw me about it, and I agreed for him to put it into the Waitangi Tribunal. The other units have had their battle honours put on their flag, and we're the only one where they haven't put our battle honours on there. We're just waiting to hear what's happening.
What a ripple.
We still had to fight.
Hmm. When you look on television now and you see wars happening in the world, like in Ukraine and Syria and Palestine and all that, what do you think?
Waste of time. War is a waste of time. It solves nothing, but it makes some people rich. And I think that's what war's all about. These fellas who sell arms to both sides to kill one another. That's just shocking. It's bloody awful. War after war solved nothing. If I'd known as much as I know now, I would have stayed home. Yeah.
Is that because of what went on over there?
Oh, not only that, it's the way they keep treating us. We lost those fellas for nothing. We're no better off. We're still fighting for a place in our own country.
I suppose when you get to 97 and you've survived all that you've survived, you'd have a bit of clout around here.
You're getting that way, yeah.
Sir Robert Nairn Bom Gillies. He doesn't count himself among the pantheon of warriors or heroes. But there he sits, the last of a generation of soldiers, a reluctant symbol, a reminder of all who are no longer with us. The last man standing, as has often been said, is that a burden to be the last man standing?
It is, yeah, it is. Because they hold you up that high. I was the lowest rank. You couldn't get any lower in the rank. And it's tough, yeah. Might look good, but it's tough inside. Yeah. But I got to get on with it because that's my life.
E rere ana ngā mihi kia koe, hei te i ka whiro o te hoko whetua tū ko koe tērā, te whatu urupā o rātou mā, e waipokehia tonutia nei ngā mahara ki ngā hoia I kakari ai mō tātou. Tā Robert will be knighted with the sword which once belonged to King George VI. It was gifted by the Queen to the whānau of Te Aroa soldier Hāne Manahi in recognition of his outstanding bravery. We wish Sir Robert and his family all the best for Wednesday and the rest of the year. I'm sure that when rugby season opens, Tā Robert will be driving himself to cheer on his beloved Waikite club. Go Waka. Thank you for joining us tonight. Catch you next week. Pō Marie.